Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to tonight's Detox Diva class, the root cause roadmap for Hashimoto's. We're going to be diving into the liver, gut, and the GLP-1 connection your thyroid has been waiting for. So I'm so glad you're here tonight. If you're brand new, please type in the chat because these people that are on this call, a lot of them, they love to just let you know how much you're appreciated just for sharing your time with us. So drop it in the chat, say first time, let us know who invited you. And Tommy told me if Tommy invited you to please put Tommy invited me so that I can let him know that you showed up for him. He sent me a message a little bit ago. He's out of town and not able to make it tonight. So let's get started, shall we? So to anyone here for the first time, like I said, welcome to the family. Tonight we're gonna be talking about something a little different. We've just spent the last few weeks just unpacking the GLP, the liver connection, just how it relates to everything. And somebody in our community asked me a question that's kind of stopped me in my tracks a little bit. It was like, so, she was like, is there a connection with the GLP and the thyroid? Now that you're talking about the liver, it got them thinking because the liver is directly connected to the thyroid as well. So tonight we're going to follow that question all the way down that little rabbit hole. And if you've been struggling with your thyroid, you've been told your labs look fine, you feel anything but fine, then this call is for you. And if you don't have any of that, this call is for you so you know where to point someone if they do have issues. So grab your tea, grab your notebook, settle in. We are going to get rolling here. So my name is Coach Tina. I have been with Heart and Body Naturals for almost 4.5 years now. That just blows my mind. I'm the host of the Detox Divas. I founded this, and I'm a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a hobby homesteader, I will call it. I have a dog and 2 cats. And I'm a coach, and I'm very, very passionate about health and purity in products and making sure that people have access to the best. And that's what we get to carry here. I want to introduce you to Paula in Alexandria. Paula is our CEO. She is absolutely amazing. And so I want you to know who's behind the products we're going to be talking about. So Alexandra Brighton is our master formulator. Alexandra is the woman who created the original healing trilogy, Mind, Body, and Soul. Not out of anything to make a profit. She created that actually to save the life of Paula's husband, who was suffering a horrid disease called, I can't remember what it was, vasculitis of the stomach. And so the vascular system around his stomach was severely inflamed. And anytime the stomach moved, which it does pretty much, all the time, he would feel like a saber sword was going through his gut. And so Soul was the first product created for the Heart and Body Naturals line. And then along came Mind and Body, and Soul works liver, kidney, detox pathways. Mind is obviously any inflammation, helps with cognitive, supports cognitive function. And then Body is the circulatory system. And that was the first 3 products in the company. And there's documentation. If you've not seen Ben's story, please ask for that. It documents his health journey, and in 6 weeks, his condition was completely reversed. So that's pretty exciting. So the company was built on authenticity, ethics, and transparency. We've got over 200 clean and effective products. Every one of them is backed by 100% money back guarantee. So you'd never have to worry, is this going to work? Am I going to throw more money down the toilet? These work. So you're probably not going to have to ask for a refund, but just in case you have that little bit of apprehension, that is there to protect you. So we're always people first around here. We do sustainable farming, and we're very eco-conscious packaging, pure farm-sourced ingredients, organic, GMO-free, direct from the farms. And here's the part that matters most to you, the consumer. These 2 women that you see on the screen right now are over the board obsessive about purity and potency, which I love because then I never have to question anything that they come out with. But they got tired of turning products away. We would get a shipment in for products. It would go into in-house quality control. It would not pass. It would be refused. And so Paula decided to build her own in-house 16,000 square foot FDA registered packaging facility. There's no, and manufacturing, there's no middleman, there's no mystery, just clean products made with integrity by people who actually care about the end user, which you can tell in the price point of the products too, because for what you're getting and the purity level, it's just, it's amazing. So but we do have to throw this little fun disclaimer, little quick housekeeping to protect the house because I am not a doctor. I don't pretend to be one. I'm just very passionate about sharing things that I learn in the research that I do. Everything I share with you tonight is for educational purposes only. Nothing on this call is intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please always talk to your qualified healthcare provider before starting or changing any diet, supplement, or detox program. And the program I'm going to talk about tonight has not been evaluated by the FDA. Individual results will vary. What works for one may not be appropriate for another. If you're pregnant, nursing, dealing with medical conditions, or you have a child you are wanting to support, please get medical advice before starting. I have to say that. Just a side note there. Use the products only as directed for their official information from the official information pages. And if you have any kind of adverse reaction, stop and call your provider. So let's dive in now that we've got the housekeeping out of the way. So what if your thyroid isn't broken, it's just buried? So here is how the whole conversation got started. So last week, somebody in our community asked me, Tina, does GLP have anything to do with Hashimoto's? And I'm going to be honest with you, I'd never heard those two words in the same sentence before, but I went down the rabbit hole because I love to learn new things and share them with you guys. And I read the research, I cross-referenced it with everything we already teach about gut and liver terrain. And I had this, oh my gosh, this is the missing piece that these people need to find out about. And so this is the conversation that nobody else is having with women who are struggling. So tonight, what if your thyroid's not broken at all? What if it's just been buried under everything we're about to walk through? And that's the question I want you sitting with for the next 20, 30 minutes. Okay. So you're not crazy, you're not lazy, and you're not failing. Read that out loud slowly. Take a screenshot, put that on your bathroom mirror. And I want you to hear me on this. You are not crazy, you're not lazy, and you are not failing. The fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix, the weight that will not move no matter how clean you eat, the brain fog that has you forgetting words mid-sentence. I do that sometimes. The meds that are supposedly working, but you still feel terrible, the mood swings that came out of nowhere, the doctor that keeps telling you everything looks fine. Friend, if any of these are you, you are exactly where you're supposed to be tonight, because tonight we're going to talk about why this is happening. And once you understand the why, the how starts to make sense. So take a deep breath. We are going to dive in. So let's talk about what is Hashimoto's actually. What actually is it? What actually is it? So here is the first aha moment of the night. So Hashimoto's is not a thyroid problem. I'll read that again. It is an immune system attacking a thyroid. So your thyroid is the victim in all of this. It is beat up by an immune system that has been triggered by something else upstream. So when you take levothyroxine or Synthroid, what is that doing? It's replacing that hormone that the thyroid can no longer produce because of the attack that's coming from someplace else in the body. So this is how the medical system works. It treats the symptom. It doesn't chase it down the rabbit hole to find out the why. So the immune system, it's still firing, the attack's still happening, and nothing in that prescription pad addresses why the immune system started attacking in the first place. And this is why so many of you have been on thyroid meds for years and you still feel like garbage. The medicine is doing one job. It's doing its job, but it's not designed to do the rest. So we have the loop. Here's the loop right there on the screen. So this is the framework for everything we're going to talk about tonight. And I want you to draw this out in your notebook because this is the picture you're going to keep coming back to. Liver, gut, GLP-1. And for those of you that are new to my calls, GLP-1 is not a drug. It is an actual protein that is created in the small intestine if the environment is right. And so again, those drugs are forcing that on your system, right? It's forcing your system to do something that's not ready to do. You got to chase that downstream. So each one of these talks to the next one. There's communication. This is the communication loop. And when the liver is congested, the gut is going to suffer. And when the gut suffers, the GLP-1 production stops. And when the GLP-1 production stops, the immune system gets all angry and mad, and it starts firing off. And when the immune system is fired up, then the thyroid is going to get attacked. So look where the thyroid sits in that loop. That's at the end, not the beginning. So when someone walks into a doctor's office with thyroid symptoms and the only conversation they have is about the thyroid, they're starting the conversation at the end of the story. So tonight we're going to walk this loop together from the beginning. Sound good? So your liver is doing the heavy lifting. Let me make sure. Okay. Just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. I have to pop into chat every now and then. So your liver is doing the heavy lifting. So write this part down too. Nobody told me this either when I started my own healing journey. Wasn't thyroid, but 60% of your thyroid hormone conversion happens in your liver, not your thyroid, your liver. So here is what that means. The medication you're taking, the levothyroxine, the Synthroid, all of those, that is a T4. T4 is inactive. Your body cannot use it like that. Your liver has to convert that T4 to T3 before your cells can do anything with it. So if your liver is congested, fatty, full of toxins, overburdened, that conversation between the liver and that loop, it stalls. And your THC can look perfectly fine on paper, but the lab is measuring the inactive hormone. But your body is starving for the active hormone that it cannot make. So this is why so many of you have thyroid medication for 5, 10, 15 years, and you still feel like crap. The bottle is full, the conversation is broken, and nobody is talking about your liver. But the gut is actually where the story begins. So we just talked about the liver doing the 60% of your conversion. Now look at this. Another 20% of that conversation happens in your gut. That means together your liver and your gut are responsible for 80% of the active thyroid hormone in your body. 80%. Then add this on top. 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. So if Hashimoto's is an immune system attacking your thyroid, where do you think that immune system got the message to attack it in the first place? It happens in the gut. And one more, 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut. People will take sleeping pills and mental prescriptions and stuff to help balance all of that, when really it's not the mental, it goes down to the gut again, the gut and the liver. You clear those two things out and you'll feel like $1,000,000. I don't know who on here has done a liver cleanse. Now, it's not going to be your first time liver cleanse, and you're going to feel like Mary Poppins floating with her umbrella. But I can tell you that the people that have done the liver cleanse feel so much better in 3 days. And I know I've got a couple people on the call tonight that have done that, and they can probably speak in the chat. I don't have chat up to answer questions if anybody's asking. So that 90% serotonin made in your gut. So your mood, your sleep, your stress regulation, all of that lives in the same neighborhood as your immune system, and they're all wired together. So my friend, you cannot have Hashimoto's without having some sort of gut involvement. I've not seen one case in my coaching work where it was not there. The H. pylori, the candida, the food sensitivities, leaky gut, these are not random. They're all the soil the autoimmune attack grew out of. So all of that is going on inside of your body. You heal the gut, you calm the immune system, ignore it, and the fire keeps burning. Make sense so far? So meet the GLP. Now, we've talked about this for quite a while right now, but it's very important. There's a lot of aspects to this. So this is the hormone that nobody told you about. So, and I never knew it really either. I thought, GLP, okay, they're taking the GLP shot. Okay, well, that must be the name of the shot, right? No. You've heard this word a million times. I've heard it a million times. I'm in jail right now in Facebook for saying this a million times. But because of Ozempic and Mounjaro and all the other weight loss conversations. But here's what nobody tells you. The GLP is a hormone your body makes naturally every single day. It's born in the L cells of your gut, and it does way more than just control your appetite. It regulates your blood sugar, it slows down your digestion so you actually feel full, it modulates your immune system, and it calms your inflammation. But here's the kicker. This is the part that connects the whole call together. GLP-1 is a powerful immune modulator. It calms the inflammatory pathways that drives the autoimmune attack. Does that make sense? So it's the fireman for that the inflammatory pathway, including the tax on your thyroid. So when your gut is sick and your GLP-1 production drops, your immune system loses one of its biggest peacekeepers. You starting to see how this loop works? I love putting things like this together, if you can't tell. So here is where the science finally caught up. And I've been talking, this is kind of what I've been talking about for a couple of years now, is just the gut health, not the GLP-1, because that's fairly new to me within the past year and a half. But I want to give you the science to back this up, because I do not want you walking out of here thinking I just made this up. But November 2025, peer-reviewed journal called Curious, study titled The Thyroid Twist, How GLP-1 Antagonists Are Influencing Autoimmune Thyroid Care. That's a recent paper, y'all. The research laid out exactly what we just talked about. GLP-1 calms that inflammatory cytokines. It enhances the regulatory T cell function, which is part of your immune system that tells the rest of the immune system to chill out, friend. This is the same conversation we've been having in the natural health world for years. This inflammation is the root of so many things, and it really all starts in that gut. And so the science is finally catching up. So if you ever feel like the natural path is somehow less serious or less science-based, screenshot this slide, because we've been talking about this same loop for a while, and now the journals are too. So let's talk Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, and Zepbound. So now we have to have an honest conversation about these drugs. And I'm not here to villainize them, because I know they're very helpful for a lot of people. They scare me because of the side effects, but I'm not going to villainize them, but I'm not here to worship them either. I'm here to tell you the truth so that you can make an informed decision about your own body, not the hype, not the fear, the truth. So I'm going to give you both sides of the story, and I want you to know both sides before you ever decide to take any of these. So here are the two sides. Here's the good side. For some women, these drugs have been life-changing, and the weight comes off, better insulin control, reduces the inflammation, reverse that T3 may go down indirectly. Stabilizing that blood sugar means fewer cortisol spikes, feeding that autoimmune fire. And so we acknowledge that. And the side that nobody really is talking about is the slowed metabolism, worsens the fatigue. You've got your hair thinning. And when you suppress the appetite that hard, you suppress your protein intake, your iodine intake, your selenium intake, all of that, all the raw materials your thyroid needs to make the hormone in the first place. And a slowed stomach emptying changes how your thyroid meds absorb. And the FDA still has a black box warning about thyroid C cell tumors based on animal studies. There's still a black box warning. So two sides, both are true. Your decision deserves the full picture. So if you are on one of these or thinking about it, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you to know both sides of this and walk in with your eyes wide open. So the GLP drugs, and your stress system, and this is the part that does not get talked about enough. So under eating, so they make you not hungry, right? I don't know. There's probably some people on here, and God bless you. It's okay. I'm not judging you at all. But when you're under eating, that triggers a stress signal in your body, and cortisol is going to rise, energy is going to crash, burnout deepens. So even when the under eating feels helpful, your body is reading it as stress. It's going to go into that protection mode. It's going to hold on to things it's not supposed to be holding on to. And that cortisol bump is suppressing your thyroid function downstream. And so some women on these drugs feel shaky, weak, anxious, especially if their blood sugar regulation was already fragile. And then there is the flat feeling, low motivation, blunted energy, poor stress tolerance, and that often gets mistaken for adrenal fatigue when really it's the medication interacting with an already exhausted HPA axis. So hear me on this one. If your HPA axis is already tired, GLP-1 can pull you deeper, not pull you out. And that's exactly why so many people feel worse before they feel better on these drugs, because the terrain underneath of it, just like when they treat the thyroid and not the liver and the gut, the terrain underneath of what their goal is has never been talked about or addressed. So who needs to be careful? So before we go any further, I want to give you the list of who needs to go slow way down before starting one of these drugs. And this is not a complete list. This is not medical advice. This is me telling you the conversations that need to happen between you and your provider. So take notes. So if you have untreated or poorly managed hypothyroidism, rapid metabolic shifts can make your systems worse. And so if you're already under eating, suppressing appetite further starves your thyroid of the raw materials it needs. If you're in a high stress or burnout state, the GLP-1 can pull your HPA axis deeper into dysfunction. And if you have a history of blood sugar swings or fragile regulation, these meds can amplify that problem instead of solving it. So if you have a high sensitivity or MCAs, your system is going to react more strongly to immune modulating effects. Does that make sense? And there are a few more, and I will name out loud, even though they're not on the slide. If you have any history of pancreatitis, gallbladder issues, these drugs can trigger flares or accelerate gallstones. If you or anyone in your family has had thyroid cancer or MEN2 syndrome, these drugs are an absolute no. That's the FDA's black box warning. If you have an eating disorder history, appetite suppressant in the restricted body can reactivate the disorder patterns. So be very careful if you've had an eating disorder in the past when taking one of these drugs, because it could put you back into that cycle where for a while, people that are like that will feel better if they're not eating, and they feel healthier when they're not eating because they're more focused on the weight loss than they are on the health gain. So what else here? Oh, yeah, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, obviously trying to conceive, these drugs are not safe for you at all. And if you're already on insulin or diabetes meds, stacking them with the GLP-1 can cause dangerous low blood sugar without proper oversight. So if any of this is you, just slow down. Just ask questions, get that second opinion. Your body deserves an informed decision, not a quick prescription, which so many are like, oh, just get on this, just get on this, just get on this. And before you know it, the rule with doctors is 5 by 50, which means they want you, the pharmaceutical industry encourages 5 by 50, 5 pills by the age of 50. So that's just one more to add to that rollout for the prescriptions. So let's get into the deeper truth now. So the GLP-1 drugs don't fix your metabolism. They change your signaling, and there is a massive difference there. They tell your brain you're full. They tell your pancreas to release insulin. They're sending messages, but the terrain underneath your liver, your gut, your minerals, your stress system, that's all still broken, my friend. This is why women are coming off of these drugs and gaining all their weight back plus more. The signal stops. The terrain was never repaired. So you end up worse off than when you started. And being a lifetime customer of these drugs is not advised. The drug is just a signal. It's not the solution. And if we want true healing in our bodies, we have to go after the terrain. And this is where we are going to talk about next. So here's the good news. And the really good news, your body already knows how to make this GLP-1. It's been doing it for your entire life. The L cells in your small intestine produce that GLP-1 every time you eat and when the conditions are right. So what does your body need? It needs a healthy gut terrain. It needs adequate fiber to feed the good bacteria, mineral replenishing so the cells can do their job, blood sugar stability so the cortisol is not running the show, liver support so it can keep up with what comes through it, and stress regulation so the nervous system is not stuck in fight or flight. And we learned last week there's also freeze and fawn. So if you missed that call, ask whoever invited you for the replay. That was a really good call last week. So that's it. 6 conditions. Give your body those 6 things and your gut will pump the GLP-1 the way it was designed to. No injection, no prescription, no harmful side effects. Your terrain is the prescription. That's an excellent quote right there. Your terrain is the prescription. And that is where that's what this work has always been about. So I want you to meet one of my best friends. My best friend is fulvic acid, and that's nature's master balancer. And this is, I say this at least once every call. Fulvic acid is foundational to your health. Every single day, fulvic acid needs to be in your body. And it pieces everything we do in this community together. So fulvic acid is an adaptogenic. And that word matters. Adaptogenic means it does not push your body in one direction like the drugs do. It tunes it. So it listens to where your body is. It supports the balance there. So in hypothyroidism, where the thyroid is sluggish and underproducing, fulvic supports the increased hormone production and helps bring the energy back up. In hyperthyroidism, where the thyroid is overactive and burning out, the fulvic is going to go in and calm excessive activity and soothe that system. Same product, it adaptogenic, it adapts to what's going on within your body, and it works with your body to bring that homeostasis or balance. So it's 2 different responses based on what the body actually needs. And that is the magic of a true adaptogenic. So think of it like this. Fulvic is the tuning fork. So this is a metaphor I want you to walk away with tonight. I thought it was kind of cute. So if your thyroid is the conductor of your body's orchestra, fulvic is the tuning fork that brings everything back into harmony. And so the conductor cannot do its job if the instruments are out of tune. And right now, for many of you on this call tonight, because I know there was a great response to this, the violins are sharp, the cellos are flat, the drums are silent, and you're wondering why the music sounds like a kindergarten band concert. And fulvic is not a stimulant, it's not a suppressant, it's a tuner. It gets the cells communicating again with each other so the conductor has something beautiful to lead. And that's the work that we get to do when we do the root cause and the terrain health approach to making your body better. So the research on that has been there since 1988, and now you cannot have a thyroid call without talking about the research. And this is the foundational product I built my whole community around was fulvic acid. And here's what nobody's going to tell you on a TikTok video. There is a 1988 outpatient study from Tongren Hospital in Beijing that published fulvic acid volume 4, it showed a 90.9% cure rate for hyperthyroid patients treated with fulvic acid over 6 months. Wow, isn't that incredible? 90.9%. The research has existed for over 30 years, but the reason most women have never heard of it or heard of fulvic and how it relates to this situation is fulvic does not have a marketing budget. There's no pharmaceutical company funding TV ads for a soil-based mineral compound. So the research sits and the women suffer, and we are over here talking about it because somebody has to. Much like all the news coming out about the different ways that cancer cells are being taken care of with natural or semi-natural supplements. I'm not a huge fan of ivermectin, but there is some great research out there about it. So one of the ladies in my community shared this with me, so I wanted to share it with you straight from one of the women. And this is from a real mother-in-law in our circle. And she told us, my daughter-in-law was diagnosed with Hashimoto's hypothyroidism and prescribed levothyroxine. Boy, I'm getting stuck on my words. 50 milligrams. She never took the meds. She bought fulvic acid instead, and 3 months later, her blood work came back with no thyroid issues. Her doctor said the medicine must be working, but she had never even taken a single pill. The only consistent change she made was with fulvic. And so, friend, I share this with you because it's one woman's story. It's not a guarantee. It's not a promise that fulvic will do the same thing for every woman that's on a call tonight, because our bodies are so different. Our stories are so different. Our terrain inside our body is so uniquely ours, much like our thumbprint. But when you work on the whole picture and you start following that loop, the foundation is a liver cleanse, fulvic acid, those things, get those moving, get your detox pathways open. Then these stories could become your stories, and they deserve to be told. And that one woman, 3 months, one supplement. Pretty powerful. Then I want to introduce you to black seed oil. So this is the second foundational piece for thyroid support. Black seed oil the active compound in black seed oil is called thymoquinone, and that is anti-inflammatory. There's over 800 peer-reviewed studies on black seed oil alone, and it is immune modulating, and that's powerful. Black seed oil has actually been studied specifically for Hashimoto's by the thyroid pharmacist, Isabella Wentz, who is one of the most respected women in autoimmune thyroid care. So when I tell you this is a thyroid ally, I'm not making it up. The research is there. 5 mechanisms, 1 powerful seed. And let me show you what it actually does. So number 1, black seed oil has been shown to lower THS and raise the TH3. It may also reduce thyroid antibodies, the very markers that drive that autoimmune attack. And that alone is huge. Number 2, it fights H. pylori and Candida. Both of those infections are extremely common in women with Hashimoto's. Do you guys know what that is? What those are? I'm going to open up chat so I can see. Tell me if you know what those are. What is H. pylori and Candida? Ooh, let me get down here to the bottom. Let's see. Bacteria, yeast, parasites, y'all. Parasites. Yep. So both of these infections are extremely common in women with Hashimoto's, and the antibacterial action of black seed oil matters here. Number 3, it supports insulin sensitivity. There's tons of study on this. So stable blood sugar means less inflammation, which means less fuel for the autoimmune fire. And number 4, it modulates the immune system. So thymoquinone calms the inflammatory cascade. It calms that fire that's attacking that thyroid gland. And number 5, it improves cholesterol balance, lowers the LDL and triglycerides, raises the protective HDL. Hypothyroidism almost always raises cholesterol. So that's a beautiful side effect right there. So 5 mechanisms, and every single one of them hits differently. That hits that link in that loop in that we drew earlier, it hits it differently. And so this is why I have black seed oil on my daily stack and why I'm loud about it in the community. And if you're not in one of the groups, then please make sure to get into one of the groups because we talk a lot about this in there. Yes, bacteria. So natural tools, one loop. So let me put these two tools side by side because together they're absolutely Superman or Batman and Robin. So fulvic is your mineral, your detox, and your adaptogen support. Mineral replenishing, cellular communication, detoxification support, gut terrain repair, thyroid balance in both directions. Black seed oil is your immune, anti-inflammatory, and antimicrobial support. So that's going to lower that TSH, raise the T3. It may reduce thyroid antibodies. It fights that pylori and candida. It modulates the immune system, supports insulin sensitivity, and together they support nearly every link in that loop that we drew in the beginning of this call. And this is the duo that you should never go without. And so where do you start your roadmap? Well, like I said earlier, I don't want you walking out of here overwhelmed because people think, oh, this is too much. I want you to take it slow. I want you to know that root cause healing is not a 30-day one and done. It is a lifelong process. Just like if you're on an emotional healing journey, you can get triggered. You can have flare-ups of emotions that come back to get you. Because let's talk about mindset stuff. I had to throw that in there, but you have to be aware and you have to know that these things are going to come up and that it's not a one and done. Okay. And I don't want you overwhelmed. I want you walking out of here with clarity. So step one, cleanse and support that darn liver. That liver is upstream of nearly everything we talk about tonight, that we've talked about tonight, and just about every other process within the body. Give it room to do its job. Step two, heal the gut terrain. And this is where the immune signal lives. This is where the GLP-1 is born, okay? Step three, replenish those minerals. You're going to get that from fulvic. Every cell in your body needs raw materials, and fulvic is going to deliver that. Step four, stabilize that blood sugar. Get cortisol off the gas pedal so it stops driving the autoimmune fire. Step five, add that fulvic and black seed oil. So those are two foundational allies that hit every link in the loop. Step six, give your body time. Healing is a loop, not a sprint, and compound those small wins. The body took years to get sick. It's not going to heal in a week, but your body does know how to heal itself. So this loop applies to every thyroid story. And hear me on this one, my friend, because this loop we drew tonight does not just apply to Hashimoto's. It applies to every thyroid story. Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, Graves, thyroid nodules, postpartum thyroiditis, post-thyroidectomy, subclinical low thyroid in women whose labs are normal, but she still feels like crap. If you fall into any of those categories, this work is for you, and you do not even know what is going on with your thyroid yet. This work is still for you. So the terrain conversation is the same. The starting place is the same. Your body knows what to do when you give it the right environment. So you belong here no matter where you are in this story. So your thyroid is not broken. It's just breath, or it's just buried. So take a breath, my friend. We've covered a lot tonight. I know, and it kind of went fast. This is the line I want you walking out of here with tonight. Your thyroid is not broken. It's just buried under all the rubbish that is in your body that is trying to find its way out so your body can heal itself. It's buried underneath a congested liver that cannot convert its hormones. It's buried under a gut that's leaking inflammation and feeding an autoimmune attack. It's buried underneath the blood sugar swings that are spiking the cortisol and stealing its fuel. It's buried under the mineral deficiencies that have starved it, the raw materials it needs to function. It's buried underneath a toxic burden that was never designed to carry. Your body was never designed to carry a toxic burden. And when you clean out all of that, your thyroid often remembers how to do its job. And that's the whole roadmap. That's the whole call. Your body's not the enemy. Your body's been waiting for someone to listen to it. And tonight you listen. So I want to thank you so much for showing up for this call. So our one of the perks of purchasing products from Heart and Body Naturals is when you purchase a certain volume, a certain pack, or a certain order of products within the company, you are going to get a free product. And the free product for May is going to be Fat Detox roller stick. This is brand new roller stick. It's normally just in an essential oil bottle. So I love this that we can just rub it on now. So this is going to help smooth the look of your thighs. It's going to support circulation. It loves your lymphatic system, which is another key piece to this whole detox protocol and getting things moving. And if you do not have a vibration plate or a rebounder, please get one, because that is one of the best things that you can do to get that lymphatic system moving. And it's made for real life people. So you're going to feel lighter, look tighter. It's your secret weapon to a more confident you. Move more, hold less. You're going to wake up. That lymphatic flow and help your body do it as it's designed to do. It's going to target the areas that refuse to budge because you've tried enough. This time, try smarter. And so it's got grapefruit, lemon, lemongrass, ginger, juniper, and cypress in it. And so this would be something that you would put on after your shower when your skin pores are all nice and open up and get in there and do that work. And it smells obviously wonderful with all that citrus and ginger and cypress in there. And let's see, what's next here? Oh, yes, personal power. So, personal power, for those of you that aren't familiar, we have a sister company called Go to Sauna that's primarily essential oils. And one of my favorite things from Go to Sauna is the Oil of the Month Club. It's a subscription box, and you get a different essential oil. There's different kits that have more oils in them, but this will come with this one. I can't remember what the single oil is that accompanies this, but for $30, you get this amazing oil called Personal Power. And on the product information page, it's going to come with a daily motivational quote that you will say every morning when you're putting your oil on, right after you put on your fat detox oil. And this month, May's is going to be, I will embody my personal power from this day forward and use it for good. And I hope tonight has given you some tools to empower your personal power to start working on your health and making that body function the way it was supposed to. And then the quote goes on to say, I forgive those who have taken my power, whether intentionally or because they have none of their own. And I forgive myself for giving my personal power away. I am grateful for reclaiming my personal power and how it's changing my life. I actually had this conversation with myself the other day on forgiveness, and that's a lot of personal power. When you have a hard time forgiving someone, you've given some of your personal power away, and that person gets to hold on to that anger. They're still attached to you. So when somebody says forgive them, that's not for them, that's for you, because you become the victor and they become the victim when you forgive them. And then it's up to them to make amends if you're even open to it. So reclaim that personal power, use this oil, work on some forgiveness this month too, because those emotions within your body can also cause different diseases and bad energy within your body, which can cause sickness, right? And so tonight you reclaimed it. You reclaimed your right to question what you've been told. You reclaimed the right to look at your own body as something worth listening to instead of something to be fixed. And you reclaimed the right to walk in a different path. And so if anything tonight I shared landed with you, here's what I want you to do. I want you to reach out to the person who invited you to this community. They are your guide. They walked you here. all your questions, all your ordering, all of your next steps, go through them. They have your back. And they're here for the same reason you are, because they wanted to feel better. And so by joining Heart and Body Naturals, whether as a customer or as an affiliate, we're all one big, amazing, happy family. There's some amazing people in this company, and you have found the right place. Okay. So thank you all for your time. It really means a lot to me to know that you take time out of your day, out of your night to come onto these calls and listen and learn. And now I just ask that you go and thank you, Jess. I'll bring it up. And now I just ask that you go and spread the word, spread the video. I'll have it up on YouTube soon. And find that friend of yours that's got a thyroid problem and say, listen, I just heard a call about this and it opened up so much for me. And I think you need to listen to it. Okay. All right, y'all have a great evening. And again, I'm just so grateful for this community, the Detox Diva community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. And I'll have somebody else post the replay later because after I get it up, because obviously I can't post in groups until July. So have a great evening. Bye-bye.